Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to try the T95, the Tier 9 American Tank Destroyer. And this thing, when it first came out, that was before my time. I'm not sure if that was still in closed beta or what, but once upon a time I saw an old article telling all about it before it was actually released. Kind of was on the test server still or something, I guess. I don't know. Was there a test server back in that day? Anyways, this thing is known best for being really slow, I would say. That and its massive amount of armor. It has 305 millimeters of armor on the front of this thing. 305. That means that if you're sitting there and your Yog Panzer U-100, what's that have? 299 penetration? Something like that? I don't have one to look it up. I could look at the tech tree. That's a lot of work. It has a massive amount of penetration. You shoot it, you're probably going to bounce. Even the FV215 B183, which has 310 millimeters of penetration, is still going to have a really hard time with the front of this thing with its armor-piercing rounds there. Why? Because, I mean, it has more penetration than this thing has armor, but taking the random factor out of things, the armor you're hitting is probably never going to be perfectly flat. There's going to be some kind of angle, and that's going to be enough with this much armor to probably make the difference. That being said, however, the lower plate on this thing, I've had success before penetrating that. More in the old days than now, it seems. But this tank is now in HD, so maybe that got a buff in that time period, I don't know. Otherwise, I have best luck with this hatch. You haven't seen a whole lot of them as much as you used to in recent times, ever since there was all kinds of other crazy tank destroyers that came out. I mean, there used to not even be tier 10 tank destroyers in the game, and at that point, this thing was pretty crazy. 750 damage was the highest alpha of any tank in the game, and there wasn't many that would actually do it. So it was really scary, and there wasn't a whole lot of fast tanks. For example, the whole French light tank line didn't exist when this thing was at tier 9. It was a whole different world at that point. There was T50s and T52s, and that was about the only big thing that I was ever afraid of in this. But let's get into battle. This thing, as I said, is very slow. It also has the slow traverse speed to match it. It is quite susceptible to artillery because it is so slow, and it is quite big, especially looking at it from the top, and the armor on top of it is not that strong either. Luckily, there's only one artillery in this game when it's a tier 8. That being said, if it hits us, it might still penetrate, especially in the back, and do its full 1200 damage or whatever it is. Well, let's accept this invite, just because. Why not? Maybe he's trying to get a tank destroyer mission done. What is ours anyway? Cause 6,000 HP of damage. We probably won't get it done, but it's possible in this thing. If I'm going to get it down, it's probably going to be in the 183 that I have, but we will see what happens. This time, I'm going to roll up with the heavy tanks. That's a long drive is the only problem. Not really the map I wanted to see, and we are going there at a whopping top speed of 13 kilometers per hour if you're going downhill. Level ground, you're doing good to exceed 12. Going uphill, don't get me started. You might be going 4 or 6 kilometers an hour, and that sucks. This is actually the only tank that I have over, I think. It's the only tank. Jeez. It's the only tank that does something. What was I going to say? Dang it! I got distracted by that guy joining the platoon. Why would you join the platoon, guy? Oh, it's the only tank I have that I have over 1,000 battles in it. I think. That being said, that's followed next by probably the Type 59. Premium Chinese medium that everybody seems to really want, mostly because it's rare. Tank's already dying. I have just driven through our cap circle. And we'll see what happens. There's a tortoise up there, speeding along in front of us, getting pushed by an E75. Come back and push me, E75. No, but I have mixed feelings about being pushed by other tanks, because then it takes them out of the battle for that much longer too. And it really only speeds me up by like 1, maybe 2 kilometers an hour. So is it worth it for the team? I don't know. Unless you plan on using my armor as a tactical advantage of some sort, probably not. But let me give you a tip as we roll up here. If you're ever behind these things, behind the T95, shooting at it, don't auto-aim on it. Make sure your gun isn't going to hit the top of the fuel tanks because you will quite possibly bounce. Make sure you hit somewhere along this whole engine compartment here. Fuel tanks being fuel tanks, so if you hit them and you penetrate, you might decent damage, but I've had so many tanks bounce off the back of me that try to auto-aim on me or just try to quickly take shots on these, and sometimes it just costs them their lives when it bounces off. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're behind it, unless you can't get your gun down low, hitting the hatches probably isn't a good option, but that depends on what tank you're playing and stuff like that. And another, moving on, another big disadvantage of this tank, because it's so slow, there's been battles where you drive the entire game towards the enemy's cap circle, and before you get there, the battle is already over, and you get to shoot nothing, you don't even get to aim at anything. You fire 0 shots, and it really, really sucks. For example, this tortoise is already at half health, a quarter of his health, probably going to be dead before I even get there. So it makes you feel a little bit left out. It's really best in maps that are smaller. For example, Himmelsdorf is a smaller map, and it's got those corridors in it, so you can always make sure your armor is facing the enemy tanks. And the armor on this used to be a lot more effective back in the day, before there was ultra-high penetration guns and speedy tanks that could get around you more and more, and less people knew how to fight it back in that time too. We're almost able to shoot at something now. Woohoo! So 750 average, that was a 729 roll, bouncing shots in the T10. I'm going to hope that artillery is not looking at us. I'm actually going to bet on it. I can't make that shot T95 or E5. That's really, really risky, and it's probably not going to penetrate anyway if I hit. I'm getting shot in the back. Hi, Leo. And this is where we might end up dying. Don't you dare get behind us. Oh, you got behind us. You need to try to wedge yourself up against something, get them up from behind you, but that's clearly not working. So we're going to try the next option, and that is to just see what kind of damage we can do in the meantime. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Our gun's damaged. Can we finish out this IS-4 at least? Nope. And there goes our loader. And now it's game over. We're tracked again. We already burned our repair kit. The engine's gone. I should have aimed that way, but I'm not going to reload in time anyway. This guy's going to kill me in 2 seconds. And and that is the pain of the T95. I should have been watching my mini-map more, but I didn't think I needed to at that point. To be honest, Leo just drove around behind me, and then that was it. And the rest of our team just fell apart. I got to fire 2 shots the whole game, because by the time I got there, half my team was already, like, you know, dying. The whole flank was already losing, which really sucks in this tank, but not a whole lot you can do about it. This is Object 416. What are you doing, guy? What are you doing? No, I guess he's waiting for this Leo now. That makes sense. I understand. He's going to get destroyed pretty quickly, though. He's going to try to play keep away, isn't he? Oh, not Leo stopped for artillery. Did you even notice at one point that Leo stopped dead in his tracks as I was traversing to try to get him? Stopped, fired at another tank, and then continued on with what he was doing with me. He had time to stop and fully aim before he even continued to try to flank me. And if he was another second slower, then I might have been able to keep him from getting in front of me, but even then, if I would have meant that I'd get one more shot off before he was behind me, maybe hit him once, and he would have still been alive at that point to just try it again. That's a big downside. I left the platoon. I was going to leave it after the battle anyway. That was pretty terrible. T10 destroyed his track. Leo damaged the track, probably from ramming him. Did I even shoot him? No, I just rammed him once, right? Just 100 and something damage, 102 damage. So that kind of sucks. We didn't even make any profit. Sadly, we still did a fair amount of damage. We're fairly high up on the team list. Let's give it another try and see what happens. T95. I used to really, really love this tank, but unfortunately, it's just kind of designed for camping. And camping is something back in the day when I played these 1,000 battles I have in this thing, was definitely something that I did a lot of. In this tank especially, because I found it worked. But, like I said earlier, there's those battles where your team will steamroll the enemy, and if you're sitting at base, you're not going to get to shoot anything in that case. Or very, very little anyway. You have to try to kind of kind of try to get it into a position where you have all the enemies in front of you, which can be tough to do, especially in this day and age in the game. This tank needs some kind of buff, but I'm not sure how you could do it without making it overpowered. If you gave it a significant maneuverability or speed buff, then it would just change it completely. I'm not sure if that's what they want. Maybe they could increase the top speed by 2 kilometers an hour, or I don't know. But I have no idea how it does statistically in the big picture. Wargaming keeps track of how every tank does, what percentage of its battles it wins out of like a global scale, and compares that to other tanks, how much damage it does on average, and etc., etc. Probably all the stats that it shows in the battle reports and more. Just get an idea how the tank is actually doing. But we'll see what happens this time. And last time in the last battle, you may have noticed I did take quite a few hits. Most of them bounced, but it was kind of too little too late, I suppose, considering that there was a Leo behind me. And if you ever see one of these things, if you can survive a hit, just drive around it. Take the hit and drive around it. If you can spare the hit points too, I suppose. That depends on how your team's doing. But sometimes you don't have a choice if you need to take care of the enemy quickly. And I need to keep in mind this game that there's 2 artillery on the enemy team, and that this spot, which I was in for this Joe Emil video as well, is susceptible to artillery. This E100 is going to be in the way of my shots. I'm going to get spotted driving across here. I'm going to drive right up beside our U100. Which has ended horribly before. It's a really bad idea to get close to your enemies, and that's what I'm going to do. Because then they can just drive around easily. If they're at a distance, you're going to get to shoot them once or twice before they even get beside you. You might be able to track them in that time, or do something else heroic, but we'll see what happens. Probably drive up here. Oh, is that an ammo rack? What would the IS-3 get ammo racked? Oh, U100, please, please, please. I want to block him. He's going to drive forward again. Loading a premium round for the front of this guy's turret, because I ain't taking no BS. Long reload, artillery. Don't know if I've ever had a Waffentrigger unload it. No. Ow. Unloaded the front of this thing before. Didn't really need a premium round for that, but it is what it is. Got hit by the 53, 55. Took away a third of my health points. And there goes the Waffentrigger. This is one of those tanks too. If you ever leave it alone in a battle, it's in big trouble. I'm gonna switch to standard ammunition after the shell. That bounced, of course. Oh, he's gonna unload his clip at me. Good luck with that guy. Just gonna wiggle so he can't snipe my hatches. Not really what I wanted to use my shell for. But it is what it is, I guess. Patton's probably dead. I can't get there in time to save him, though. Oh, our ammo rack. Oh, you almost made me miss, T94. You can go get yourself shot now. Oh, no, not quite. Ooh. U100 just got nuked by Artie.
They killed our driver. We're covering his position, but not very well.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Artillery's going to be reloaded soon, I imagine. One of them, anyway. Don't drive around beside me, please. No. Keep traversing. Almost reloaded. Now he's dead.
Vehicle destroyed.
2,600 damage. See if we can do more, or if we're gonna get nuked by artillery, who's probably over there. I'm not gonna go for him. I'm such an easy target. Instead, I get myself spotted by this T54 and get shot in the back by artillery, which might actually be able to happen. Oh, I got shot in the side by something down there. I got shot in the side by something down there. I started to traverse back that way too, thinking about that, but even though my side skirts aren't relatively thick in this thing, it wasn't enough. Especially to an M46 firing APCR rounds at me. Oh well, we had a decent game. Looks like we're probably going to lose it. Could still turn it around. It's 3 tanks versus 3 tanks, but they have 2 artillery as well. Let's stick around and watch. Oh, this E100 is going to be dead. Patton's firing premium at him too, and there's the artillery coming into effect. So now it's a now it's a 2 versus 5. And our T44 isn't the brightest guy, I don't think. Yeah, that Patton's a wrecking face. And that's just our E1, who is, I don't know what he's doing. Is he looking for that Panther 88? I mean, hey, this Platonic Bear guy that's talking in chat, the clan tag FU, is that the same guy that was when we were playing in the T95 on Serene Coast? Is that the same guy that asked me about my clan tag? I don't know. Same clan. Alright. Are you one? Probably has 2 shells left. Nobody knows where he is, though. Artillery. Hits the front of the building, damages the tank around the side of it.
Track fixed. Let's roll.
What's he gonna do? What will he do? Oh, by the way, looking into doing live streams again. So I bought myself a 75-foot Ethernet cable to run because the Wi-Fi here sucks more than Bluetooth. Bluetooth on my phone actually has a longer range than the Wi-Fi in the house. Those all-in-one boxes suck. From my general experience, this is the second one I've had, and they never have good range. But anyway, running the cable from the back of the all-in-one to my computer, 75-foot cable length away, it's proven to become a little more troublesome. It's going to involve drilling holes, and since it's not technically my house, I can't just go willy-nilly drilling holes, so we'll probably put on hold for a little bit longer as far as live streams go, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. In the meantime, I'll still be able to do actual videos, though. Now is our E1 reloading, or did he reload his clip before that Panther appeared? He could still potentially win this, but he's probably not going to. Reloading for another 30 seconds there. So he's not going to be reloaded until 6 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the game. And this Patton is counting on that. He's going to go up here now and get hit by artillery if the Patton doesn't just finish him off in the first place. He's not even looking at the Patton. He's not even pretending he has shells. That's one thing you should do. If you have no other option, pretend you have shells. Now he's being aggressive. Oh, he is actually reloaded now, though. No gun depression there, though, guy. Why'd you even bother firing with your gun pointing in the air? You're gonna have to go around and get that Patton. Don't let him reload. Don't give artillery a chance to hit you. Come on. Well, so much for that chance. He should have been able to do it. Was he reloading it again at the end? No, I don't think he was. Oh well. Thought we crashed there for a second or froze. The game wasn't loading back from the battle very quickly. So yeah, we did okay, I think. 2,600 damage. We did top damage on our... No, we didn't. That's sort of by experience. Fourth for damage. First by experience. So we got in there. We took whatever hits we needed to. We fired 8 shots. All 8 hit. 5 of them penetrated. 2,600 damage. We received 7 hits. 3 of them bounced off of us. We lost a little bit of monies, I suppose. And going back to that previous battle, we received 12 hits. And 5 of them ricocheted. Oh well. Well, we tried. We gave it a good run. T95, just not quite what it used to be. It does need to have something done with it, I feel. But that being said, if you're ever engaging one, especially at a distance, be afraid. Be very afraid. Your best bet is to get around it. Don't try to penetrate it from the front unless you feel very, very confident with yourself. Even with the biggest guns in World of Tanks, it's going to be very tough. And from a distance, you can't snipe the hatch on top. Hitting the lower plate, which doesn't seem as weak as it used to be, is also pretty tough. I remember back in the day testing in a training room how weak the lower plate is, and I was playing on Malinovka, and at one point I got my tank wedged up on an angle as high as I could, and I had an M6 penetrating it. That being said, it might have been the belly of the tank as well, but an M6 is a tier 6 heavy. Not really, shouldn't even be a competition to the front, and it would struggle for the sides, I think, too, of the T95. T95's side armor, 152 millimeters, plus you have to take into consideration that the top part is highly angled, and the lower parts here have the tracks as well as a side skirt in the way. So it is actually relatively tough. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching again. I will see you for the next one. Make sure you continue to vote on which tanks you want to see. You can go over to spacegk.com/tanklist, or you can just go to the homepage and spacegk.com, and it'll have a link there for you at the top of the screen. You can vote for the tank there, put it in the video description as to which one you want to see, and I'll go from there. I have a few more tanks that have already been voted for, but if you vote for them, if they've been voted for several times by different people, then it'll definitely kick them up in the list and make them appear a little bit quicker here because of how I'm going to run things. And also, if you're interested in my mod pack, that's also available on my website. You'll see it there, spacegk.com/modpack. Again, link at the top of the screen as well, and I'll put a link in the video description to both of those things as well for this video. So thanks everyone for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.